You'd think you'd be able to escape the net zero insanity for a few hours by indulging in a bit of culture, so to speak, at Glyndebourne in the UK, which hosts the world-famous opera festival in June and July each year, at the height of the British summer, which usually means it will be cold and wet. But no, you can't, because even this organisation has been infected with the net zero mind virus, which saw them install an on-site wind turbine to a fanfare of publicity back in 2012. But when power cuts hit the performances this week, the turbine, in conditions of very light winds, spectacularly failed to deliver. Welcome back to MGUY, British engineer and lawyer, now Sydney-based YouTuber. If you'd like to support this channel and display your anti-EV credentials to your Tesla-owning neighbours at the same time, why not buy some awesome MGUY merchandise, like this mug, this baseball cap, or this t-shirt. Each high-quality item sports the MGUY No EVs sign, and they're all made to order, perfect for irritating the hell out of your local EV zealots. Visit store.mguy.tv or click the link in the description to check out the full range of products. And of course, you can always just buy me a coffee. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code on screen. Rather than just focusing on producing operas, Glyndebourne has embraced the full net zero wokery and has even a web page to announce its plans. Glyndebourne and the environment. Find out how we're working to reduce our environmental impact, including using our very own wind turbine. From an early age, I have cared passionately about the environment, and my first dream was to help the caretakers dressed in green suits looking after the orangutans in Indonesia. My love of nature and the environment has not dimmed. I am delighted that Glyndebourne is embracing these vital issues, and I hope that we will be able to contribute in a small way to doing our bit for the environment, at the same time as maintaining our high artistic standards. Gus Christie, Executive Chairman of Glyndebourne. At Glyndebourne, we are committed to being industry leaders in minimising both our direct and indirect impact on the environment, and encouraging everyone we engage with to do the same. In 2021, in conjunction with COP26, Glyndebourne joined the global race to zero and committed to halving direct carbon emissions from a 2019 baseline by 2030, reaching net zero by 2050, reporting annually on progress. So, as you can see, they're fully on board with the whole climate alarmist nonsense of the IPCC and the series of COP meetings that travels around the world, generating more emissions in the process than most small countries. And the wind turbine was installed back in 2012 to great fanfare by the media. Sir David Attenborough launches noisy wind turbine at Glyndebourne. It may add a surreal edge to performances of Don Quixote, but the huge wind turbine launched by Sir David Attenborough on the site of an old windmill above Glyndebourne is already making a noise that protesters claim will ruin opera goers' picnics. The television presenter described wind turbines as elegant structures in harmony with nature. The 85-year-old, who has been coming to the opera since the 1950s but does not live in the area, said the 230-foot turbine in the heart of a national park must be welcomed and encouraged other communities to accept wind power. Wind power can never provide for all our wants, but every bit of power generated by wind must be welcomed, he said. Even if we only generate a fraction of what our country needs in this way, then we must. Sir David said the rhythmic noise of wind is trivial compared to mechanical sounds like aircraft noise and the health problems caused by pollution for fossil-fueled power stations. To suggest the rhythmic puff of wind is comparable to the death of thousands of people through lung disease is laughable, he added. Gus Christie, Executive Chairman of Glyndebourne Productions Limited and grandson of the founder John Christie, said the turbine will ensure 90% of the electricity required to run the famous opera house will come from renewable energy. He insisted the noise is not a problem and the turbine will be turned off if it goes above a certain level. The wind turbine will make back the £1.5 million cost within 6 years and then generate money for the Opera House through government subsidies. So electricity is much cheaper and perhaps even make a profit. Glyndebourne also has an electric car charging point for customers and comprehensive recycling scheme. Yep, more of those government subsidies again, which translates to other people's money. And even back then it wasn't popular with the locals, as you can imagine, not only as an eyesore, but because of the noise. But Professor Tony Parker, a retired engineer leading protests in the village, said the whumph whumph noise of the turbine was already causing a nuisance, even in moderate winds. He said the noise could be a serious problem during the Opera Summer Festival when hundreds of people picnic in the grounds of the country house. He estimated that the 900 kilowatt turbine will also be one of the most inefficient in the country, only generating power 17% of the time. Its output is abysmal and the noise is already a problem, he said. Of course, the many objections of the locals to this turbine were overruled because net zero trumps everything, including plonking a ghastly wind turbine on the site. And of course, when you actually need the thing because of a power cut, it's missing in action. Glyndebourne abandons show after wind turbine fails to keep lights on. Blackouts force East Sussex Festival organisers to pull plug on Handel Opera. Power cuts compelled Glyndebourne to abandon a performance as the Opera House's wind turbine offered little backup in the still summer air. The production of Handel's Saul on Saturday was plagued by power outages before the organisers pulled the plug on the whole show. Organisers said the production had been hit by 6 blackouts while the audience was present, each requiring a 15-minute pause to restart the stage technology. A spokesman for Glyndebourne told The Telegraph, 3 of the power cuts happened during the long interval, which meant we were able to minimise the impact. However, the continued instability of power after the interval made it impractical to continue. Our teams on and off stage are working at their peak. Repeated stops and restarts become untenable and even unsafe, and compromise the performance we are able to deliver. The performance of Saul was abandoned minutes before the final curtain. And a commenter on the excellent website Slip Disc summed it up perfectly. As we left, I gazed up at Glyndebourne's solitary but enormous wind turbine, magnificently motionless in the still and balmy evening air. Oh, hilarious. But to be fair, the audience at Glyndebourne is probably made up of the kind of wealthy liberal elites that think net zero is a good thing, as long as it doesn't affect them, of course. So they'll have to struggle to decide whether they're going to be furious that their expensive trip to the opera was ruined, or whether they're glad that they're saving the planet. I think I can guess which it would be this time. Thanks very much for watching. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any tips or stories, go there. If you'd like to watch another video, go there. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, go there. And please subscribe to this channel.